Good day, good day, good day. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's 8 a.m. You know, it is time for grade 8 English home language. I welcome everyone who is with us today. Let us quickly take the register. Let us quickly see who is with us today. If you are there, please say hi in the chat. If you are there, let us see you say hi in the chat for us today. Okay, there is a couple of highs in the chat. It is so good to see familiar names and a few other names joining us in our lesson for today. Okay, so without a waste of time, let us get on with the lesson. Just a reminder, remember next week it will be the assessment week where you would be assessed on term 1 work that you did before the lockdown, as well as the term 2 work that which we were doing for several months during the lockdown here at STEM Digital School, as well as what we are doing this week. Some of them is revision, most of them is revision, and please take this seriously because you will be assessed on all these things next week. Okay, yes, so please be prepared, please be ready. If there's anything you do not understand or you need clarity on something, please do not hesitate to ask for help. Please do not hesitate to ask for help. Okay, let us get started. So in today's lesson, we will be learning a bit about sentences, the correct word order of a sentence, and you'll also go through euphemisms. So here are the contents of the lesson for today. We will be learning about the correct word order in a sentence. So this will be about how should the words in a sentence be? What will be their order so that your sentence can make sense? Yes, that is the question that which we would be answering in today's lesson. Then we will also be learning about question forms as well as euphemisms. Okay, so yes, the order of words in a sentence is important. So that is something that which we are going to appreciate in the next few minutes, that you will see that the order at which the words you use in a sentence is very, very important. Okay, yes, it is like when you address people, you know that when you address people, you have to address them by their ranks and things like that. So you can really think of it in the same light. You can also think of it in the same way. Okay, so the correct word order. Most sentences in English are written in the following order, okay? So the subject comes before the verb, which comes before the object, all right? So here I used a very, very, very easy example to try to explain this, to try to make it much more understandable. So here's the example. The example here is, I love you. Okay, so you realize that I is the subject, love is the verb, and you is the object. Okay, so is I love you. And then you realize that it follows this pattern where we read the subject first, then the verb, then the object. Okay, then so a good way to try to memorize this is to use this abbreviation SVO, okay, to remind ourselves that the subject usually comes first, then the verb, and then the object. Okay, yes. So you realize that if you can, so then you realize that if you can scramble this order, then you may have a sentence which will not make sense, okay, or which will mean something different from what you have intended. So if I go back to my example, I love you. So if I say love you, it really doesn't, it really doesn't sound good. It doesn't really make that much sense. If I say I you love, what is that? Love I you, I mean, what is that? So you realize that this SVO, subject, verb, and object, is a very good correct word order for a sentence. Okay, can we have a few examples from you that which you can go through? You can write your example in the chat and I will read it out, and we will also use it to demonstrate the correct word order of words in a sentence. Yes, you can write us your sentence, in the chat, so that we can use it as additional examples to demonstrate the correct word order. Remember, with the correct word order, the subject first, then the verb, and then the object. And another thing you should remember is that it is not every time that a verb will be an action verb, okay? Sometimes a verb could be an auxiliary verb, okay? It may not be an action verb, all right? So yes, this is what you need to know. That is what you need to remember. So yes, let us have a few more examples to demonstrate the correct word order. Okay, we have Nkanka in the chat saying, I eat a lot of food at McDonald's. Oh, Nkanka is making us hungry now. Okay, I eat a lot of food at McDonald's is what Nkanka has said. So from that, let us see if you can identify the subject, the verb, and the object. And let us also see if Nkanka's sentence has the correct word order. Okay, so what is the subject there? The subject in Nkanka's sentence would be I. Then the verb will be it. Then the object will okay. So can we have a few more examples for the correct word order? Okay, so can we have a few more examples? All right, so that is what the correct word order is all about. You should remember that the subject comes first, then the verb, and then the object. Okay, so this is something we all need to know. We need to remember, because you realize that if a sentence does not have that correct word order, then chances are that it may be very, very difficult for you to understand. Okay, someone has raised the hand. Nkanka has raised the hand. Oh, where are you? Okay, it seems like you have lost Nkanka. Yes, Nkanka, I hope you will come back. You'll raise your hand again. So is there any question on the correct word order? Is there any question? Remember, if you have a question, please type it in the chat and we will get back to it. Or you can simply raise your hand. Okay, there is another example from Preston. Preston is saying, I am watching TV. Okay, let us see. So from Preston's example, I will become our subject. Okay, am watching will become our verb, and then TV will become the object. Yes, thank you so much, Preston. So you realize that if you can scramble these words or you rearrange them, you realize that whatever it is that which you're going to read would not make sense. Okay, so I am watching TV. If you say TV watching I am, or whatever way you may rearrange those words, they will not be making any sense and you'll be confusing everyone. Okay, so yes, I think we can pass now to go to the next section of our lesson. Okay, all right, before we move on, we have a question from Simone saying, "Sir, what if I use I am instead of I am?" Yes, that is okay, Simon, that is okay, you can use it. Remember, it is the shortened form of I am, and it is not a slang, therefore you can use it. Okay, remember when we did a punctuation last week? Yes, I do not remember if it was this class or the other one. So when we did punctuation last week, I used I am as well as I'm as an example for the function of an apostrophe, that sometimes we use an apostrophe to combine two words to make it into one. Okay, yes, so you can use that, Simon. That will be correct because it is not a slang, therefore you can use it. Since it is not a slang, then it's okay, you can use it. And okay, IAM is not an abbreviation. IAM is not an abbreviation, okay? IAM is not an abbreviation. It is just a shortened form of I am, okay? So it is not an abbreviation, all right? Yes. So if you can remember well, you will realize that during our lesson on abbreviations, there was never an abbreviation which had an apostrophe on it, okay? So an apostrophe is not used to abbreviate, but it is only used to shorten two words into one, you know, so it is not an abbreviation in any way, okay? So thank you for your questions. Thank you so much. I really love it when you participate. I really love it when you ask a question. It shows that you really are listening, you really are a part of us, and you really do want to learn. Okay, so the next section of our lesson will be the question form. And this is something that which I should have written in red to emphasize that whenever you write a direct question, please remember to use a question mark. Okay, so that is very important. That is very, very important. Okay, so yes, I know this is something that which you've seen. If I remember well, I think this is something we have covered. So remember we said we are revising. So yes, anyway, here are the 6 common ways to asking questions. All right, so we have what, where, when, why, which, and how. So if I remember well, yes, that time when we did punctuation marks and we learned about the question mark, you will remember that we said that when you ask a question, you would realize that the tone of your voice goes up towards the end of your question. The tone of your voice will go up towards the end of your question to demonstrate that whatever it is that which you are asking, it is indeed a question. So therefore, yes, even here in the question form, it still is the same thing. So let us not go through it again. Okay, yes, let us do something new. So you realize here that without the question mark, all these questions, they may not really sound like questions at all. Okay, so a question mark, it does shows us that really this is a question. Okay, all right. So if you have any question about any of these questions, please you can raise your hand to ask your questions so that we may give you clarifications and we may be able to help you out. All right, let's continue. Okay, so with the question form, if you remember, we said there are two ways to turn a statement into a question. So one way to turn a statement. Okay, let's see, we have a question. Homolemo, what is your question? Okay, let us see. Let's back up a bit. Okay, so remember what I said? I said that all these 6 ways, they are the 6 common ways to asking questions. You realize that most of the time when you see what, where, when, why, which, and how, you know that there are questions. Okay, so this being the 6 common ways to asking questions, these are common. Okay, these are common. These are the ones all of us know, all right, because we have been exposed to them for so many times, so we really know these. Okay, but that does not mean that these are the only ways to ask a question. Okay, when I go to the chat right now, I see Hakim is asking a question. Hakim saying, can I, is also like asking a question. Yes, Hakim, can I, you are asking a question. Remember, you can say, can I please go out? Okay, so why? Because when you say it, the tone of your voice, it goes up towards the end. Okay, you say, sir, can I please go out? Okay, so by the way that you are saying it, it does sound like a question, and indeed it is a question. So if you were writing it down, you were going to use a question mark at the end to really to demonstrate that that indeed is a question. Okay, thank you so much for that, Hakim. Thank you so much. I see there's another question from Homolimo, but I do not quite understand what Homolimo is trying to ask. Therefore, let me unmute Homolimo so that Homolimo can ask the question. Yes, Homolimo, you can unmute yourself so that you can be able to ask your question, because
Sir?
we do not want to end the lesson without you having to ask your question. Yes.
Sir, they did not use who like the question. It doesn't kind of like use other.
Oh.
So I'm trying to say they use what, then, why, and which. How about
Oh,
who
okay.
that person
Oh,
in the
yes, you're
question?
right, Khomilima. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So yes, who also had to be part of all these. So then, yeah. Okay, so on all these 6, you can also add who. Okay, you know, usually when you say who, it's usually a question, you know, who are you? You know, who are you? Who is the president of South Africa? Who is the minister of basic education? So you realize that all those are questions. So thank you so much, Khomolemo, who also fits in these common ways that which we use to ask questions, okay? And you know that with who it asks about the identity of a person, okay, or about the identity of people. Thank you so much, Khomolimo. Thank you so much. That is very amazing. Thank you so much. So yes, remember who should also be added here, okay? Who should also be added here. It is one of the common ways to asking questions. So thank you so much, Khomolimo. Thank you so much. Now we can move on to question forms and how we can turn a statement into a question, because not every question will have what. Okay, not every question will have what, where, when, why, which, how, or who. Okay. Okay, so we have another question. Wow, there's so many questions today. It does show that we really are on the section of questions. Okay, so we have Simone asking us, okay, asking me rather, what is the most common to use? May I or can I? Okay, so you can use anyone depending on the context. Okay, so usually you use may I to show that the person that which you are asking is in authority and you really are asking for their permission to do something. Okay, may I usually, yes, you can usually ask it with your parents, okay, because I mean it is your parents and they have that parental authority over you because you are your parents' child. Then you can ask my parents for 1, 2, 3 things. Okay, so then when you ask may I, it shows that you are recognizing and that you are acknowledging the authority and the power that your parents or whoever you are asking has on you. Okay, yes. And then with can I is about you. You know that this is something that which you can do with or without permission. Okay, but then you are asking for permission nonetheless. Okay, you are acknowledging another person that okay, I can still do this without you, but I really want to do it by your acknowledgement. I really want to do it by your permission. Okay, so you realize that when you say can I, that is something that you can do. Okay, I mean, you can say to your teacher, can I please go out? Okay, I know that there are those rebellious learners they can just go out by themselves. Okay, but then you, as you come to your teacher and you say, teacher, sir, ma'am, can I please go out? You are demonstrating that you can go out by yourself, with disrespect, but you do not want to do things that way. You want to respect the authority of the teacher by asking your teacher to go out. Okay, so yes, Simone, that is what it's all about. But I recommend that you use may I. Okay, may I is the most respectful way of asking for something. Okay, because it shows that you are acknowledging the person, you are respecting the person, and you realize that it is easier to get anything from someone that which you respect. But if you can ask it out of respect, out of acknowledgement, and out of recognizing the person's authority, chances are you will get what it is that which you would be asking for. Okay, so yes, there is something about respect that if you ask for something respectfully, chances are no matter how difficult what you are asking is, chances are it will be given to you simply because you've asked out of respect. Okay, so remember that, Simon, it will be best for you to use may I. Okay, may I please go out? That sounds better than can I please go out? Okay, so may I is very respectful. It shows that you are humbling yourself, and it is very difficult really to deny something to someone who humbles themselves. Okay, yes. So thank you so much. So can I does have some okay, because it shows that you can do something by yourself with or without an adult's permission or acknowledgement, you see. So thank you so much for your question. Thank you so much. Remember, if there are any more questions, please, you can text them in the chat, or you can simply raise your hand and we'll give you a chance to ask your questions. Yes, like we've already said, you can turn a statement into a question by adding a question tag to the statement. So is there anyone who can explain in a better way what the question tag is? Is there anyone who can explain to the rest of the classmates what the question tag is? You know, an easier way of what a question tag is. Someone, anyone, you can raise your hand in the chat and I'll give you a chance to speak so you can explain to your classmates. Someone, anyone? You are welcome to try. All right, okay, let me explain it then. So a question tag is a question tag. Okay, we have Preston Ford saying that a question tag is an add-on. Yeah, we can really think of it that way, that a question tag, it is an add-on that introduces a question. Therefore, since it does that, it effectively changes a statement to become a question. Okay, so that is what it does, right? So here are some examples there. We are going home. So you realize that we are going home is a statement, okay? So if you want to turn it into a question, then it will become, we are going home, aren't we? So we just added the question tag, aren't we? So you will realize that this aren't we, where did you get it? Did you Google it? Or did you think about it? Or did it magically come to our minds and say, oh, okay, the appropriate question tag for this one is aren't we? No, we didn't Google it. We didn't magically formulated, but it comes from the statement itself. You realize that the statement we are going home, it starts with we are, where we is our personal pronoun, are is our auxiliary verb, okay? Right. So for our question tag, we use this pronoun as well as this auxiliary verb, okay? Here they are. So we take the auxiliary verb are, then we add the not, okay? Not. So here we just here we shorten it to become nt, so it becomes ant, okay? So that comes from our auxiliary verb. That ant comes from our auxiliary verb, and then we still retain our pronoun we, okay? That is why our question tag here becomes aren't we? Okay, so this aren't we have formulated it from the pronoun and the auxiliary verb which we find in our statement. Are we all together on that? Do you all understand how that question T came from? Okay, here's a question. Simon is asking us, wow, Simon, thank you so much. The questions you ask are very good questions. So Simone is asking us, sir, isn't it like questioning your own statement? So yes, Simone, it does sound like that, okay? So what it does is that, remember, you are not questioning your own statement, but rather you are questioning the person that which you are talking to, okay? So imagine this, Simone, okay? This is me and you. Okay, let us demonstrate it. Okay, Simone, let me unmute you so that we can better demonstrate this section of question tags. Okay, are you ready? Okay. All right, so Simone, you can unmute yourself now so that we can better demonstrate the question tag. Okay, it will be better be demonstrated when we speak than when we type in the chat, okay? Simone, are you there? Simone? Simone, are you there? Simone? Hello, Simone, are you there? Simone? Okay, seems like we are having a problem with reaching Simone. Anyway, I will just demonstrate it by myself. It was going to be much more interesting. Or is there anyone else who can help me to demonstrate this? Please raise your hand quickly so we can demonstrate Okay, can we have a hand to demonstrate what we are trying to demonstrate? Can we have a hand quickly? Someone to join us, to join me, to try to demonstrate this. Okay, seems like there is no hand. So Simone, to answer you, what this does is that by adding the question tag, it's not like you are questioning your own statement, but remember you are asking someone a question. Okay, so so from there you are letting the person you are asking to know where you stand, and then after that you're asking them a question. Okay, so in our first one here, you say we are going home. Okay, so when you say we are going home, it shows that that is what you want to happen. Okay, that is what you want to see happen. You want to go home. You and that person, you want to go home. So when you add the question tag, aren't we, you are asking that person to verify whether is it true that you and him or you and her or you as people, whether you're going home or not. Okay, so that is what a question tag, so that is what this is all about. This question, when it is in a form of you adding the question tag to your statement. Another example, you should write your homework today. Okay, so what does, okay, so then this becomes, you should write your homework today, shouldn't you? Okay, I mean, you can really imagine you can imagine your brother, your your parents, saying that to you, that you should write your homework today, shouldn't you? So then by saying that, you know how they feel about your homework, that they want you to be writing your homework today. Okay, but then they are asking you to get confirmation from you whether you will be writing that homework today or not. Yes. Then the third one, which will be the last one, we have run out of time. You should wash your hands regularly with soap and water. Okay, so yes, that is the statement. So as a question, it will be